I like colors in nature, how they affect us, how we become energetic and happy, and how we're touched by frequencies when we see color. I like the power of color. Different cultures have different approaches to color. The meaning of colors for people, different places in the world. I love that because it's a language.
Color tells a lot about when and where, I think. Like when I think of colors in photographs, I think of my parents, like pictures of me from childhood that's like reddish and yellow. And that kind of defines the 80s. And another color of pictures kind of defines the 90s and so on.
You get programmed by the colors you experience from when you are born, I think. They stick to you much more than you think. Really think back, I was taken care of by a gallerist when my mother, she was at work at a school. And then after I left kindergarten, I was 2 hours at this gallery. And he used to have a lot of these 50s, 60s Danish expressionist people. So there was a lot of black and whites, blue, orange, reds. And I stick to these colors still.
I live in a city where you apply color to walls, to old buildings. I live in a very historical part of the town that tells a lot of story actually through color.
Really like the kind of three-dimensional feeling that color can give you, and also the like softness. I use color a lot, but it's really rare that I actually think about like, why do I use this color instead of that color? I think for me it's very intuitive. It's a feeling and it's a mood.
You have your intuition, of course, which are based on again, your upbringing, your life. Intuition is based on what your experience is, basically, and what your interest and where you look and scout for things. Then we have some major trends in the world, which are quite interesting to look at, because nothing is just there. It's all planned somehow. I work a lot with branding, what's the core of a company, their value system, which actually is the base for their language towards the outside world. And colors is a big part of this, because if you're doing design, or if you're doing commercials or advertising, you need to speak to people. And colors is a language. That's basically from nature. Nature communicates a lot through colors, how animals look. If they are black and yellow, they express they're dangerous, or if flowers has a certain color, they attract a certain insect. So there's a deep-rooted language in nature around colors. If a brand needs to balance all these color inputs from the world, the better and the stronger your own definition is of your own colors, the easier it is to navigate the colors from the shifting trends.
For me, it's easier to understand when people stay true to their DNA. That's the story that I understand and that I return to and can relate to, and I of course apply that to my work. So I believe that we are staying very true to our color DNA and design DNA for that matter, and we're not shuffling around because the world is, because we know who we are, no matter what. And our product is what it is, no matter what. And of course it's evolving, but it's not necessarily changing just to change because it's trendy. You always have to find that balance between doing something that people feel comfortable with and serving them something that they did not know they wanted. So you always have to balance it. If you use color, vibrant color, you need something to tone it down. If you have a light pink frame, the key is the iconic gold temples. Without the iconic gold temples, it almost seems a little bit foolish or childish. With the gold temples, it's luxurious. Working with one palette executes so differently in each material. So in acetate, I like to do everything in semi-transparent or transparent because that's the power of the material and what we cannot do in our other lines. So the blue that I'm picking out for titanium or polyamide, the same tone of blue in acetate looks completely different. The black color, for example, is extremely hard to put on the skin. Sometimes that actually takes over your personality a little bit when it's put here. So to turn it down, to add a little bit of gray, a little bit of brown, or maybe a little bit of green, that is renewing the classics. Pastels and neons, or what I call vibrant colors, they continue equally as the blacks and the brown. They just have, different time periods. But they can also make the black and the brown or the gold or the gunmetal look amazing and new. So these colors are so important to have because otherwise you cannot create a feeling. Red is a good example. Red is my biggest challenge actually because it's a personal dislike. But you learn the most when you work with things that you are maybe not in love with, but have to learn how to be in love with. Again, I think you can't really overlook the fact that color is emotion and it fits your personality.